Others call it pre-winter. For some, it's their favorite season. For others, their least favorite season. It's a time of pumpkins and warm, cozy candles, snuggly blankets, cozy fires. Some people like the spooky and the scary. For today, we're just going to focus on autumnal poetry. We have our two candles helping to light our way into the darkness of this autumn eve. We also have Friend Pumpkin, who will be joining us, lending autumnal air on our fall into pre-winter poetry. I hope you will enjoy this. Now let's get to the poetry reading. By an Autumn Stream by Archibald, Lampman. Now overhead, where the rivulet loiters and stops, the bittersweet hangs from the tops of the alders and cherries, its bunches of beautiful berries, orange and red. And the snowbirds flee, tossing up on the far brown field, now flashing and now concealed, like fringes of spray that vanish and gleam on the gray field of the sea. Flickering light, come the last of the leaves downborn, and patches of pale white corn in the wind complain, like the slow rustle of rain noticed by night. Withered and thinned, the sentinel mullein loom, with the pale gray shadowy plumes of the golden rod, and the milkweed opens its pod, tempting the wind. Aloft on the hill, a cloudrift opens and shines through a break in its gorget vines, and it dreams at my feet in a sad silvery sheet, utterly still. All things that be seem plunged into silence, distraught by some stern, some necessitous thought. It wraps and enthralls marsh, meadow, and forest, and falls also on me. That was by an Autumn Stream by Archibald Lampman. He lived from 1861 to 1899. Did you enjoy that poem? Did it fill your heart with autumn cheer and make you feel oh so dear? Let's read another one, shall we? From the same author. Here we have, also by Archibald, a poem titled The Autumn Waste. There is no break in all the wide gray sky, nor light on any field, and the wind grieves and talks lisping moan, an inarticulate cry, creeps far among the charnel solitudes, numbing the waste with mindless misery. In these bare paths, these melancholy lands, what dream or flesh could ever have been young? What lovers have gone forth, linked hands, what flowers could ever have bloomed, what birds have sung? Life, hopes, and human things seem wrapped away, with shrouds and spectres in one long decay. The end of that poem definitely had some vibes of the spooky, some vibes of the dark side of autumn. I actually really like that one. I'm not a huge fan of spooky, and I definitely don't like scary movies. But the other parts of autumn, the colors, the pumpkins, the candles, the leaves, the sunflowers, the apple picking, all those things are just delightful, in my opinion. Let's read another poem by our friend Archibald Lampman. This one is titled In October, which is very fitting since we are now in the month of October. Along the waste, a great way off, the pines, like tall, slim priests of storm, stand up and bar the low, long strip of Dolores red that lines the underwest where wet winds moan afar. The cornfields all are brown, and brown the meadows, with the blown leaves, wind heat, traceries, and the brown thistle stems that cast no shadows and bear no bloom for bees. As slowly earthward, leaf by red leaf slips, the sad trees rustle in chill misery. A soft, strange, inner sound of pain-crazed lips that move and murmur incoherently, as if all leaves that yet have breath were sighing, with pale, hushed throats, for death is at the door. So many low, soft masses for the dying, sweet leaves that live no more. Here I will sit upon this naked stone, draw my coat closer with my thumbed hands, and hear the ferns sigh and the wet woods moan, and send my heart out to the ashen lands. And I will ask myself what golden madness, what bombed breaths of dreamland spicery, what visions of soft laughter and light sadness were sweet last month to me. The dry dead leaves flit by with thin, rare dunes, like failing murmurs of some conquered creed, graven still and very grey and dreary, sweet sombre lands like you. That was in October, a poem by our now very great friend, Archibald Lampman. This next poem that we will do is by Susanna Moodie, 1803 to 1885. This poem is titled Autumn. Autumn, thy rushing blast sweeps in wild eddies by, whirling the sere leaves past beneath my feet to die. Nature her requiem sings in many a plaintive tone, as to the wind she flings sad music all her own. The murmur of the rill is hoarse and sullen now, and the voice of joy is still in grove and leafy bough. There's not a single wreath of all spring's thousand flowers to strew her bier in death, or deck her faded bowers. I hear a spirit sigh where the meeting pines resound, which tells me all must die as the leaf dies on the ground. The brightest hopes we cherish, which own a mortal trust, but bloom a while to perish and moulder in the dust. Sweep on, thou rushing wind, thou art music to mine ear, awakening in my mind a voice I love to hear. The branches over my head send forth a tender moan, like a wail above the dead is that sad and solemn tone. Though all things perish here, the spirit cannot die. It owns a brighter sphere, a home in yon fair sky. The soul will flee away, and when the silent clod enfolds my mouldering clay, shall live again with God, where autumn's chilly blast shall never strip the bowers, or icy winter cast a blight upon the flowers, but spring in all her bloom forever flourish there, and the children of the dew forget this world with care. The children who have passed death tideless ocean o'er, and hope's blessed anchor cast on that bright eternal shore, who sought through him who bled their erring race to save, a sun whose beams shall shed a light upon the grave. That was Autumn by Susanna Moodie. It was a rather moody poem. I enjoyed it, though. I've enjoyed all these poems. Are you still awake, or have you fallen to the autumnal slumber and poetry reading? This next reading is by James Macpherson, who lived earlier than the others, 1736 to 1796. marks the grave of the Connell. The leaves whirl round with the wind and strew the grave of the dead. At times are seen here the ghosts of the deceased, when the musing hunter alone stalks slowly over the heath. Who can reach the source of thy race, O'Connell, and who recount thy fathers? Thy family grew like an oak on the mountain, which meeteth the wind with its lofty head, but now it is torn from the earth. Who shall supply the place of the Connell? Here was the din of arms, and here the groans of the dying. Mournful are the wars of Fingal, O'Connell. It was here thou didst fall. Thine arm was like a storm, thy sword a beam. Of the sky thy height, a rock on the plain, thine eyes, a furnace of fire. Louder than a storm was thy voice, when thou confoundedst the field. Warriors fell by thy sword, as the thistle by the staff of a boy. Dargo the mighty came on, like a cloud of thunder. His brows were contracted and dark, his eyes like dew, caves on a rock, bright rose. There swords on each side, dire was the clang of their steel. The daughter of Rinval was near, Grimora, bright in the armor of man, her hair loose behind, her bow in her hand. She followed the youth to the war, Connell, her much beloved. She drew the string on Dargo, but erring, pierced O'Connell. He falls like an oak on the plain, like a rock from the shaggy hill. What shall she do? Hapless maid, he pleads. Her Connell dies. All the night long she cries, and all the day, O'Connell, my love and my friend. With grief the sad mourner died. Earth here encloseth the loveliest bare on the hill. The grass grows between the stones of their tomb. I sit in the mournful shade. The wind sighs through the grass, and their memory rushes on my mind. Undisturbed, you now sleep together. In the dew of the mountain you rest alone. What did you think of that one? For being someone not that into the spooky and the dark and scary, these poems focused a lot on sadness and sorrow. I guess this time of year in the autumn does remind the poets of these things. The leaves change on some of the trees, signaling a death to be dormant and then reborn in spring. Thank you for joining me for this poetry reading focused on autumnal poems. Thank you, Pumpkin.